Hello and welcome back to the Conversation Is podcast. I'm Charlie Pitson, and with me again is the flatmates Anson and Josh, or Joshy Boy as you know him by.
What's up, people?
This week, the conversation is Knocked Up, written and directed by Judd Apatow. Probably one of the best comedies in the last 20 years. Let's do it. How awesome is this opening kind of montage?
Very good.
And don't you want to be friends with these guys?
I do. I think that's just because I want to be friends with Jason Segel.
It's because we've been watching How I Met Your Mother a lot recently, innit?
But he just seems like a really cool tall guy. Really cool tall guy.
Yeah. Really cool tall guy. I don't know. I'd rather hang out with Martin Starr.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. He seems like a lot of fun.
He's the one who gets bullied the whole film.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him.
No, fuck that.
He's only growing his beard, and I don't know why he takes it so much on the takes it too hard, doesn't he? About all the jokes with the beard and the hair and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I think he doesn't shower for a year either.
Oh.
Nah, I don't.
I can't remember. I can't. They'll say it now. It's like the dirty man competition, and you have to not shave or cut your hair. I think he'll shower for a year, and then if you do it, then they all pay his rent, or Jason will pay Martin's rent.
We'll hear it in a minute anyway.
And then if obviously he fails, he has to pay all our rents for an entire year. Imagine losing though, and he does lose at the end. Spoilers. So imagine how much that's going to cost him, a few grand.
I know. How is that even possible?
Especially because they don't. None of them have any money.
Well, they only really say that Ben doesn't have a job. Like the other guys might have something on the side.
Do.
You know, I know. Have you seen This Is 40?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen it?
No,
It's it's a sort of sequel,
Yeah.
and Jason's in it, and he plays himself, or not himself, but he plays the same character.
Yeah.
Because they're all the same characters, just like these two, Leslie Mann, Paul Rudd, and the kids and stuff. And he's a personal trainer. He's Debbie's personal trainer. So he has another job,
God.
obviously. Yeah, it's really, really funny. You should watch it, but it is really long. It's probably too long.
How long is it? Because this is quite a long.
It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Lord.
This is 2 hours, but I mean, it's about a pregnancy. They can get away with the length because you know they could do a film that's 9 months.
Why did you laugh?
I didn't.
You did.
There's a lot of good characters in this film, to be fair.
There's too many characters, though.
There's too many, but they're all very
There
good.
was going to be a sixth roommate as well.
Oh my God.
David Krumholtz?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was going to be the sixth roommate. I think they couldn't get him because scheduling conflicts, but I remember he did a few readings with them. I think then Judd altered the script.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't do it, but that would have been chaotic, wouldn't it? 6 roommates. He's only got 5.
And that's already.
so
But I think
sick,
it's
though.
enough. It's Jason Segel, Jonah Hill, Jay Baruchel, Martin Starr, and Seth Rogen say that he would be the 6th person, not the 6th roommate. Could you grow your hair and beard for a year?
I wouldn't like to, but yeah, I could.
I'd probably get 3 months into the beard growth, and I'd be like, "No, I got to trim this."
Wait, that includes shaving your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd probably
I
make it
like
2 weeks in then.
Do you know what? Do you know
No,
why I
2
wouldn't?
weeks
I
my
wouldn't be
fucking
able to do it.
No, I'd
because
be 3 days.
I've realised when my facial hair gets too long, I start to bite at it because I'm very
aware that it's on your face, and you're like,
I'm a very fidgety person, so I just end up biting it off my face, and
Yeah.
it's
failed
really
as well.
annoying.
We kind of had a subconscious dirty man competition for this quarantine.
We're just gonna grow our beards. Yeah, but I know mine's gonna grow back anyway, so I'm not really
Yeah, but you have to pay our rents now. We should have done that. We should have made it an actual thing. That would have been quite interesting.
No way. I could not have gone that long.
Just imagine the price on that as well. Oof.
I couldn't have gone that long.
God damn.
Fucking subtle flex in there.
Yeah, it's fine. I can pay for it all. Go on in. No, I think my favourite thing, with characters, is probably the celebrity cameos.
Oh, James.
Fucking Ryan Seacrest as well. James Franco, Steve Carell.
Wait, is that Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like...
He's overrated.
No, I feel like he looks
He's
something
so
completely different in my head.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like...
But he's the stereotypical, people say, oh yeah, you're handsome, isn't
that a joke in Community with
yeah,
Jeff?
it's a massive joke in Community. They do it in How I Met Your Mother as well.
Well, I'm guessing with
but
Marshall, not Marshall, Barney.
Barney, yeah.
Barney does look a little bit like Ryan
Yeah.
Seacrest.
I was going to say he dresses like Ted.
He does dress like Ted.
That's
Yeah.
a Ted outfit.
It's that deep fee sweater, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those
That's the shirt.
and the
It's
jeans.
the jeans and the shoes.
jeans.
It's the jeans and the shoes.
I can't get over because this is what I wouldn't say the sweater or the shirt, but we all had jeans and shoes like that when we were like
Oh yeah.
younger. Like you couldn't dress
Most
like that.
definitely.
Now.
Yeah.
This is a bit dated. This
Yeah,
film.
it's really weird, isn't it? You definitely cannot dress like that. Now.
No.
Not you,
Most
Mike.
certainly not.
Jeans that baggy? No.
It's like
There's
every
no
guy
way.
has got those jeans, and they're like, where there's some people I work with.
I've probably
who-
still got a pair of
Dress
mine, like in there somewhere. They
Come on
don't.
now.
They won't fit me now, but I'm.
Big shout out to Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
He's on like every TV show known to man, like Firefly. Do you watch Firefly? Joss
I've
Whedon.
watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
Him and what's his name now? Nathan Fillion, the guy who should be playing Nathan Drake. They did that kind of short, Nathan the Uncharted short. Do you ever see that?
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember what he looked like.
And the villain from Avatar's in it as well, plays Sully.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the perfect casting, and then
That's pretty
they
cool.
kind of went with this whole like young Nathan Drake with like Sully, and I think it's like Mark Wahlberg's playing Sully, and it's just I think Tom Holland's playing Nathan Drake. I could see that. If you played the third one, you'll know what I mean, because they have a few flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, I could see Tom Holland, but then again, like, would Tom Holland want to do? Because there would be more than one film with that.
No, there'd be loads, wouldn't there?
That's what
I
I mean.
don't know. Like the only thing that bugs me about Tom
So,
Holland
like-
being cast is the fact that he is in every single film.
At the moment,
At
yeah.
the moment, it feels like he is. You feel like
But he couldn't. I don't think he'd be able to juggle doing two,
What, like
consistent roles.
franchises.
Like, yeah, franchise
well,
roles.
Chris Hemsworth has like 27, as he says in James and Bob. I got 27 franchises at the moment. I can't have another one. I mean, the one thing he could have done, he could have had a haircut and a beard before they even done this. Like, start new, go bald.
Yeah, literally.
Like I would have gone
it'd
like
just be
full Alan Hangover bald. And
eyebrows off. As well.
eyebrows, and then but maybe kept the beard like an Obadiah Stane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like that's a look in it, the bald.
No,
but
I
you
say
make up
I
for
say
that
just
fucking
strip his whole head.
voluptuous beard.
Make him look like Hitman.
Asian 47, yeah. Which one? The good film or the bad film?
I mean, I was going to say they're both bad films.
Wait, wasn't Jason Statham Hitman once?
No, it's Timothy Oliphant in Hitman, and then I can't remember the other guy in Hitman 47. They did two films, but then
Yeah.
they're not even linked. It's not.
Were
like
they not? Well, yeah, I was going
It's
to say,
like,
were
you
they
know
not
the-
even like?
47's the guy from Homeland.
That's the one. I can't remember his name though. He's
got
too,
a name.
for me. He was too scrawny in that role. Like he was a bit too like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, one sec. I got to interrupt. This is your favourite scene where they're waving the money at the bartender.
Oh yeah, it really does my head in, man. Like any bartender watching this, like this is the worst nightmare. Like someone
will-
grabbing fucking beers.
I will get to you, please.
There's not just that. It's this whole scene in general is just like it's something Judd Apatow didn't really learn how to kind of. I don't want to say fix, because he still kind of does now, but he doesn't know how to balance and like make these weird like nightclub shots look realistic.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's the whole like the music choice
Yeah.
and the lack of noise and the fact that you can hear Ben and Alison talking so fucking loud, but like he should be shouting
And
to
if
the
you-
bartender.
I'm looking
not
at this
just-
now, and nobody there is dancing.
No, it's just
They're all just kind of standing around, like.
it feels like he didn't quite finish this film. Like he needed to
Yeah.
add a bit more like
And I'm sorry, but it's never,
soundscaping, is that what they call
there's
it?
never going to be that
And you're
much
like-
light in a club either. It's so well lit for a club, like.
Yeah. I mean, he fixes it a little bit better in This Is 40. There's a scene where like Leslie Mann goes to like a nightclub with Megan Fox, and they go like they start drinking and dancing with all these hockey players, and it features a bunch of realistic, like actual real hockey players, and Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, who's in 22 Jump Street. Zeke, I think his name is.
Oh yeah,
you know the guy that like Channing Tatum kind of like buddies up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, him. The real question is, what would you do if Seth Rogen got you pregnant?
Cry.
You'd cry. That was the tagline.
Okay.
Yeah, the tagline was, "What if this guy got you pregnant?"
I think I mean, our kids would have really curly hair.
And this is like Seth Rogen, like quote unquote daddy phase, as people say.
Yeah.
For,
He's just fat and curly in this film. Like, it's,
fat, curly.
it's basically
Like
me.
every baby.
Basically me now. Like,
you as a young child. Do you think they gave him a goatee so like you could differentiate him between him and Marshall? Because this is like the third season of How I Met Your Mother came out around this time.
It's weird seeing him play this kind of character though. For me,
Well, like really, like he's a bit
because
creepy.
because you remember him like his role to me will always be Marshall. And he's just this like, he's this goody boyfriend, would never cheat on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's, I mean, I'd hope that most people wouldn't cheat on their girlfriends, but you know what I mean.
No, Marshall
like,
wouldn't. Marshall.
He's a really good boyfriend, and he's like, and then in this film, he's just a player.
I couldn't say that because this was my first film seeing Jason Segel,
Fair.
and he wasn't in Superbad, was he? Or 40-Year-Old Virgin?
He wasn't in Superbad.
No, it was definitely this because this is what got me onto like Judd Apatow and kind of movies in general. Like when you're in school and you shouldn't be watching these kind of films, this is Superbad and like what else came out, like Role Models, Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Yeah.
Pineapple Express. They all come out like within a year of each other.
Pineapple Express. He does the laugh so many times in this film as well.
Yeah.
This is like,
I don't think he does it as much anymore, does he? I think he's so self-aware of it. He tries to be like, right, how many roles can I do where I'm not fucking laughing? I think this is Seth Rogen's best film as like an actor, if I'm truly honest.
I can't think of many performances where I thought he was really good.
I mean,
though.
at least in what, like, you've seen his films in the last 5-6 years. In the ones he's like kind of directing, like Neighbours and The Interview.
It's a character that's less comedic than what he's been doing.
I think it's because of Judd's writing, though.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the films he's written with Evan.
Don't get me wrong, this is a very funny film, but it also has a couple of emotional moments that he's really good in.
I don't know. I think the idea of the film is quite hilarious, though. Like she's got
His
this.
ass cheeks are so
They're so clean.
remarkably clean.
Do you know what I mean? Like you'd think that he'd have the hairiest ass known to man. Like it's Seth Rogen, he's a hairy fella. You know what I mean?
Unless it's a butt double.
I don't think so. No, I think this whole. I think no, because CGI does. No, this is really
double.
his. This is really his ass.
That's so uncomfortable.
Maybe he got it waxed before the film.
Yeah, I was saying we watched this yesterday. He looks like the guy from American Pie, Beta House.
Yeah,
When he's wearing that
the one with
the cut off.
I
can't remember his name.
He's the one who's drinking
all the time. Yeah, he's kind of like the yes man or the
He's the one who gets really annoyed when that guy doesn't get drunk, and then he gets drunk and he ends up like
the guy at the piano,
flying to
the one
Thailand
who
adopted a baby.
It's like a full blown child. He's like 20. he's like 15. Have you seen that? You've never seen Beta House?
I've seen Beta House, but I just can't remember, man.
Is it Beta House or I think it's Naked Mile, that one is. Because that's when they introduce all the characters.
Wait, no.
Yeah, Naked Mile. No, it's not. It is Beta House.
It is Beta House.
That's the party with the nerd shutdown, isn't it? And
that's definitely Beta House.
Yeah, so Beta House is literally like Beta House, which is like, Stifler's cousin and his other cousin and all this, like, the rowdy bunch. And then they got to face off against the Geek House.
No, I have seen it.
It's classic.
Is it Greek Decath? No, what's it called?
Yeah, the
Olympiad, Greek Olympiad.
Yeah, that's it.
And Jim Levinstein's
Eugene Levy is so great in that.
No, Levinstein, sorry.
Oh man,
is
chasing the pig, and they got to unhook all the bras. And...
No, the funniest one was the horse semen one.
Oh, like the Russian roulette,
yeah.
And it's just like
it's
horse semen.
Amazing.
He takes a full load. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I remember.
Just because of the noise it makes.
Yeah. Oh, it was a big load as well, wasn't it? It was like a few shots.
Is this being cut?
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
Anything semen related comes out.
That's a shame.
It's gonna get difficult to talk about characters. I have to just refer to him as Seth, even though his name's Ben, because all his friends keep their names.
Yeah, and
Like all the roommates
I
have their
know
own.
what you mean. Yeah,
James Franco.
from Spider-Man.
This is like the first film I saw James Franco in that wasn't Spider-Man, and it blew my mind. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Why is he swearing?
Why is he swearing? What is he doing? What are you doing? What was his character? Harry Osborn. Because Spider-Man came out the same year.
Did it?
There's a Spider-Man 3 joke in the later scene with Debbie.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
This is gonna be like just like fucking cameos all over the place. I mean, Bill Hader.
Yeah, I have to say that for a second, when he came on screen from now, I thought it was Zac Efron. What? For like 2 seconds.
I don't think anyone other than Bill Hader could pull off that haircut with those what are they called?
Chops.
Chops, yeah. Mutton chops? No.
I'm gonna sound real stupid now. Is that Dwight?
No.
Fucking hell! I thought him and Dwight had been the same person.
I think
for
that he might have auditioned for Dwight.
I can't believe that I'm only now found out.
And also, this is going to fuck up. Seth Rogen auditioned for The Office.
I know.
As Dwight.
Really?
Can you imagine that?
I could imagine him in The Office.
I can imagine
him.
Was he
doing
even
that.
in The Office? I don't think he ever was in The Office.
I think he's in for like 2 episodes.
Are you sure? I don't think he's
No, I'm not sure.
Oh.
But
I don't think he's done that many TV show appearances apart from like The League. And I think that's it, man. Oh no, he was in fucking Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
The show that started this entire thing. Like if it wasn't for Freaks and Geeks, like these guys wouldn't all be in. I mean, most of these guys were in Freaks and Geeks. Jason Segel was in it. Seth Rogen, James Franco, Martin Starr was one of the geeks.
Man, that was a
show.
A stacked cast as well.
That's a heavy stat.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Linda
Linda
Cardellini as well.
Cardellini, my
It's
wife.
very broad as well. Do you mean they had multiple stories per episode? Do you know what I mean? Each gang had that's a huge cast. That's a lot to do.
John Francis Daly. He did. He wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh,
you know, Linda Cardellini's brother. I can't remember his name now.
There was one of the geeks.
Sam Weir.
There was one of the geeks I noticed was in How I Met Your Mother.
Is it Busy Phillips?
They
Bond girl.
I can't remember their name because I don't remember the names of the kids
geek,
in
the freaks were Jason Segel, Seth Rogen, Linda Cardellini, and James Franco.
In How I Met Your Mother, he was standing outside a nightclub.
Oh, Sam Levine.
Yeah,
he was one of the geeks. It was him,
that's
Martin Starr, and John Francis Daly. Yeah. He's in Inglourious Bastards. Yeah, he's one of the bastards. And BJ Novak from the Office, who's also in this film as well. He's one of the doctors they go see, and he says something.
He's asking if she's single.
He's like, "You single?" It's like, "No,
Yeah,
what? Are you guys married? We're not married. Are you guys together?" And they're like, "Yeah." Do you think the film's slightly more misogynistic, or do you think it's like?
I can see that. I can.
Because I mean, it's a pregnancy film written by a guy, and it's written by a guy. I don't know.
I can see it because I think one of the things I constantly had on my mind during this film was that if this were written by a woman, then Alison would have just not fucking spoken to him because you didn't need to. Like,
yeah.
You know
but
what
that's
I mean?
the thing, like, you know,
like she had some support at home with her sister and her sister who's.
Well, that's why I feel like Leslie Mann had quite a big involvement in writing this with Judd. Like, I can imagine she gave him quite a lot of stuff about, like, you know, what it's like being pregnant, like what are your hormones like, just, you know, like kind of little things. I got the shooting script up there, right, and inside it has he used to email himself on his BlackBerry, like you know, fucking like 2007, and you wouldn't have iPhones then. And this was even before then. And he would put down little things like that, and I think there's some things that Leslie told him. Yeah. Because this has got to come from somewhere, you know what I mean?
See, what I'm saying though is it seems like Alison makes a lot of decisions that somebody just wouldn't make in that kind of position, because after the first time that she realised it probably wasn't going to work with Ben, she probably would have just binned it off anyway. Because she'd be better off without him anyway.
Literally the scene we watched when they're in the geisha house, and she's like, "I'm pregnant." He's like, "Fuck off!" Like, you'd kind of be like. Oh,
like, I understand the notion of asking the dad if he wants to be involved and shit like that, but at the same time, like,
there wouldn't be any film if she took Debbie's advice though. Yeah, she kind of tells him, like,
but like they make it out like like the dad has more of a say than they really should do.
Yeah.
Kind of, because at the end of the day, it's it's the woman having the baby.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really who the dad is.
This has become even more.
That's their.
This is three guys talking about a film written by a guy about a pregnancy.
Yeah, it's so much more to do with the woman than it is to do with the man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it comes down to their decision. It will always come down to their decision. And I feel like she gives him way too much agency in whether or not she has the baby or how much he's going to be involved in the baby's life and stuff like that. And I feel like after the first time he fucked up, you'd think, well, I'm just not going to do that. Like, there's no point.
I mean, she does have a family and stuff. I mean, but I know also her mum,
and she has a good job as well.
I think she's just got this new promotion as well. This is all fucked up for her, isn't it?
But I do understand the notion that this could be considered a misogynistic film because the female lead makes a lot of decisions that a lot of females probably wouldn't make.
On top of that, though, Seth Rogen's character is technically the lead character.
Yeah.
So it follows more about him getting this woman pregnant.
Yeah,
I mean, they are leads, but I mean, like every film, even with an ensemble cast, there's always that one that sticks out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely his story, 100%.
It's like Superbad, isn't it? It's about them two, but it's really about Seth, isn't it? Because he's the one who's got most of the problems, with like Evan moving away.
Yeah.
Like he's the one who wants to get laid. I mean, Evan's just kind of there for the ride. He's just his friend and stuff. But yeah, back to the Anne Hathaway thing. What do you think of her? Do you think she would have been better, or do you think?
Nah, I'm happy.
I'm happy with Katherine Heigl.
I think she did a very good job.
Because that energy as well,
Yeah. And especially near to the end of the film when the character is very heavily pregnant, she's very, very good at
she's so good in this film.
Like
she hasn't been on a lot of stuff as well. I think, and this is allegedly as well, but this is always on YouTube videos. You see posts being like the top 10 actors, actresses, or who are very difficult to work with, and she's always like in the top 5.
Yeah.
But the reason Anne Hathaway, she initially agreed to play the role. And do you want to know the reason why she kind of dropped out?
Go on.
She didn't want to allow them to use real footage of a woman giving birth to create the illusion that she has given birth. So she didn't want, how they explicitly show you a vagina with the head coming out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She did not want footage of someone else's birth being kind of like
almost passed off as like a film.
Almost passed off as her giving birth, because then they didn't want people to assume that was her vagina or something like that. I'm not saying that's what it is, but
do you know what though?
I get that anyway.
I would understand that as a
It's like the opposite of Willem Dafoe in Nymphomaniac, isn't it? Like he probably was all up for having his penis out and stuff.
I was going to say,
but it's too big apparently.
Oh my god!
It's the greatest story ever.
What, Willem Dafoe's
penis
Willy being too big?
It was hilariously big,
comically
large. Comically large. That's hilarious. Yeah, Mila Kunis also auditioned for the role. She passed on her, but she landed the role obviously in Forgetting Sarah Marshall as like a consolation prize. But I don't think that's the case. I think she's perfect for that role. As Rachel in. You seen that film, Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yeah.
Seth Rogen and his movie roommates improvised pretty much most of their dialogue. Apparently, for their scenes in between these, like the bits where like
I'm sorry, but they had to be high then.
I think they probably weren't. I think
if they were.
I don't think Judd would allow it. I think
if they were improvising,
would not allow it. I don't think he would allow it. I don't think he would. Like I've seen a lot of interviews.
If they're improvising all of the scenes with them in it, they had to have been high. I think
it's mostly the stuff when it's solely just the group. I see that more.
Like when he's on the phone to her.
But there's a thing at the end of the shooting script about Charlene Lee, who plays Jodie, Martin's girlfriend. And it's fucking hilarious, man. She got like little drawings and stuff. And she was saying she got the part. She auditioned for a girl that Alison runs into the shop, with her friends. But she went for a doctor's receptionist, but she felt like she never got either of those roles and was really surprised when she got called to come in and audition for in front of Judd and the guys. Like she got this role because she thought they were fucking hilarious. And like apparently she's like really scared to do it and stuff. But you can't really tell that because she's so kind of confident in the role.
Wait, who is this now? Sorry.
Jodie, Martin's girlfriend.
Yeah.
The girl was really, really high.
Yeah.
Is that gonna hurt? Kind of your vagina? It's so gross. She was in that. She's in This Is 40, same character, but she's way fucking
the fact that
weird.
she appears twice is
She's
hilarious.
way fucking weirder. Yeah. There's a lot of characters that show up in the sequel.
Do either of these two?
No, they don't. They don't show. I don't even think they're mentioned. I don't even think there's not even a photo of them at all, and that's kind of a bummer. You when I watched it, I was hoping for because I knew they weren't going to be on there. The cast and stuff.
I remember like kind of watching it. Like I remember someone watching it in the living room, and I've walked in, kind of caught up with you. And I never at any point thought that film was linked to this one.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh
two.
shit, yeah, like
it's a film with
these two, yeah,
Debbie
the
and
main
Pete,
characters,
and they're turning 40. They're both born a week apart, and it's about how their marriage is fucked, and like their daughters are Maud Apatow. The daughters in this film are Judd Apatow's daughters, and the older one, Maud, she's a teenager in that one. She's only a year younger than us as well, so we would have been the same age when that film came out. So it's kind of that, and he said he wanted to do a sequel to that, which focuses on her character.
Yeah,
I think her name's Sadie, but I don't think that's ever going to get made. It's been like 8 years since This Is 40 now, which was a longer gap between that and Knocked Up. Yeah, apparently, with the improvised stuff, apparently Apatow had them all come up to his house and record improvising scenes to help them out, like find their fictionalized versions of themselves. During one of the rehearsal days, Apatow asked the group could be more how the group could be more interesting, and then Rogan writing partner Adam Goldberg brought up the Dirty Man competition, and they said we'd have a bet with a guy to see how long he could go without shaving or showering or cutting his hair. I knew there was a showering thing in there. Added Seagal said we thought we could chart the 9 months based on Martin's beard length.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
And then an abandoned.
I was thinking about that actually when we watched it yesterday. I was like, this is kind of a cool way to chart the pregnancy. Just like
I think his hair grows too quickly for 9 months.
Oh, definitely.
Bear in mind, his hair is what at best like neck length, yeah.
Yeah. But I think
it ends 9 months later. It's like it's way past his shoulders.
No, it's not.
It definitely grows. It grows too quickly.
Apparently, they had an abandoned addition to the bit, which would have had Jay Baruchel trying to maintain a Vanilla Ice-like hairstyle longer than Star had his beard.
Oh my god.
Jay Baruchel actually had a real fear of roller coasters, and apparently they spent like an entire day shooting the roller coaster scene.
Oh.
Imagine doing that, man! Like, could do another take, please. Jay had his eyes closed. Oh fuck!
Fucking hell.
He said it's not that bad, and then he had a panic attack on the roller coaster.
Every time.
Blacks out. Like, we need to do it again, guys. Jay keeps fucking just passing out. Like,
Jay keeps passing out.
That would.
Can you imagine him in the opening part then? With just him with just his
I mean,
legs and arms
you see those videos of people on roller coasters passing out. Have you seen that the slingshot one where just like
the little kid.
Yeah. The little kid, yeah. Oh god. Apatow had a connection to Cirque du Soleil he didn't even know about. So he tried to incorporate it into his earlier movies, but he never survived the rewrites until Knocked Up. After having an easy shoot, the writer/director discovered that the head of PR at Cirque du Soleil was Apatow's babysitter when he was a kid.
Lol.
Fuck me.
That's really
cool.
convenient. That's almost as convenient as the Uncut Gems thing with their dad being But then if that wasn't a thing,
that's crazy, man. That one's crazy.
That is quite fucked up, isn't it?
Fucking wild.
That's very specific. Like Cirque du Soleil is like the biggest, like most well-known kind of like circus act, like show.
That's wild.
That's mental. They use different print. That's not funny. Apatow really wanted to show the crowning shot. So he says the reason I show the crowning shot is if I don't show it, it's just like an episode of Friends. I'm trying to make you feel the pain of the experience because it is the most intense moment in people's lives, and I had to do something that hadn't been done before.
That's fair.
Because what else can you possibly do? What else could you possibly do instead of that to try and get that kind of intense experience shown on film?
CGI baby.
No, he's like fuck CGI.
CGI. Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot a real bird.
Also, we don't want to see that in a film, dude. Like,
no. So he actually found a woman. The unborn child would need a worker's permit. What? his intent.
What? Wait.
Wait. Hang on now. His intent was to find a woman who would agree to let him film a real baby being born. But in California, the unborn child would need a worker's permit, and I can't get it till he's born. There is the Kurt Vonnegut problem right there. So we weren't able to do it, so it became prosthetic.
I didn't think it was real.
You didn't think it was real?
It wasn't.
It looks so real though, and I wouldn't be able to say it is because I've never seen a birthing video. I've never seen anyone give birth, so I couldn't even tell.
I thought the whole thing. I thought the whole thing there was that it was real.
I didn't know this either.
What?
That is a shock.
I honestly didn't think it was real. The way you were talking about it being real, I was like, oh.
Yeah, but the funny thing is though, California, the California state would not allow him to do that because he would need a worker's permit. The fucking baby would need a worker's permit.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about how weird that is? That's mental.
Yeah.
Well, he's working. He's on the job, you know.
Yeah. I honestly, that would be sick to come out of the womb and like you've got bank straight away.
Yeah.
It's not even just that. Like you got your first
your first movie credit.
First movie credit is like
before you were even born.
You're the youngest movie star of all time.
Yeah. Literally.
You've seen babies in films; they're like a year old.
Oh yeah, but not literally coming out of the vagina.
The baby at the end of this is massive.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's like 36 months years old.
Yeah.
It's a 32-year-old man.
I found a thing about Katherine Heigl and how she her comments.
Yeah.
So apparently in 2008, she told Vanity Fair she thought the movie was a little sexist and felt it paints women as shrews, as humorless and uptight, and it paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys. But then she later retracted that comment, somewhat saying that she didn't like how her character came across. She didn't like herself in it. The character, she said she was kind of like so judgmental and kind of uptight and controlling and all these things, and that she really went with while they were doing it, and a lot of it Judd allows everyone to be very free and improvise and whatever. And afterwards, she was like, "Oh, why is that where I went with this? Like, what an asshole she is, you know." Like she knows that her character is kind of an asshole in it, but she's not really.
But see, that's what I was going to say. I don't think she is. I think she's perfectly. I think she rolls over too easily.
I think that he makes Debbie. That's more of a portrayal of Leslie Mann's character, and even that is kind of like it's down to Paul Rudd's kind of being a shitty husband.
Yeah, but see, my thing with I think as the character is too lenient, because after the first, like I said before, after the first time that Ben fucks up, she's more likely to just be like, well, no, I'm not taking that chance again. Like,
well, I mean, in that situation, you'd probably be like, you want to keep him around at least to see what it's like, and she gives him a chance throughout, but he just comes up with so much stupid shit, like when they go on their first date properly,
Yeah.
And then he comes in, and he's like, well, I just have to wear a condom now. And just kind of like, dude. Like, and he's like, oh, I really thought I was going to get a blowjob. I told my friends I was going to get a blowjob, likely, I don't get how he gets away with it, because his character's a bit of a fucking dick. Like, he's too immature.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he doesn't seem 23. He seems like 19, but he looks 36.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently she said that obviously Judd and Seth were incredibly good to her on the movie, and she didn't mean to shit on them at all. Obviously, I don't know how long after she retracted that comment.
Which is fair, but I think that's. I mean, I don't think it. I didn't really ever see it as like her shitting on them and her being disrespectful or anything. It's just
I don't read that. I think
it's just a kind of thing that like. I think they should have probably.
I think that's the problem. The only problem with this film for me is how
got a girl to read over got a female to read over the script and make sure that it was.
It felt like he didn't give her a chance to kind of be like, oh yes, I want to take the character. Yeah, I don't think that like she would kind of say these things or do these kind of things, and then he should have to work way harder to get every woman in this film is painted like that.
Yeah,
when you think about it, her mother is a little bit like kind of bitchy about like, you should get an abortion.
Yeah.
And there's another apart from Jodie, Charlene Leah's Jodie, she's just too stoned to care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. With that, let's move on to rotten reviews.
Rotten reviews. I want to hear them.
I mean, this is a highly rated film. Anyway, like it's got 90%. So I mean, do with that what you
Does
will.
it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Fuck
Shit,
it out.
quite fresh.
It's only got 20 second.
Fresh.
20 second? 20 second? It's only got 26 bad reviews. Obviously on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh God, yeah, go on in. All right.
This is actually quite good. Knocked Up is like a hallmark greeting card with crude verse. It's like an uneasy mix of ethnic humor, slacker humor, and human drama. Some is amusing, some is indulgent, and some is strained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess it's not wrong. I guess that's so.
I like the hallmark greeting card with a crude verse though. It like kind of like makes sense a little bit. You know what I mean?
It does. I don't see that as a bad thing though, because that's quite funny to me.
I would love to have a hallmark card like if it was like written or you opened it and it's just like Seth Rogen like and you're like this is fucking sick. Yeah, that's actually that's not a really good example for this, is it? That was a perfectly fine. I don't even think I shouldn't even be wrong review.
That shouldn't be a wrong.
I think they just kind of like
they're talking about that stuff as if it's negative.
But they only really talk about the humor. I know the humor's represented. They don't really talk about the story. They just say human drama. They don't really get into like, you know, if the story's good or not, because they can't, because the story's great. The story and the plot are great. It's just I get the humor thing. Some things do feel a little bit forced, and then obviously there's that kind of heightened slacker humor, you know, with the weed and dick and fart jokes and stuff. It's kind of like every Kevin Smith film.
Yeah, and I guess some people won't like that, but if you don't like it, then don't watch the film. So
yeah, that was the easiest one ever.
Like, you know.
Apatow's talent for accurately portraying his generation at their most self-absorbed doesn't quite go as far as justifying the script's patchy, haphazard conflicts as it does towards explaining the film's bloated running time. Ooh. That is a big fucking dig. That's a big dig.
I mean, it is quite a long film, but like...
Yeah, like bloated running time. I mean, what's that even fucking mean?
Like,
why does it have to be hour and a half?
No, I mean, like, so... I think what this person, I mean, this was from 2008, so like most of his films hadn't been out. The only things that have been out would have been this, and this is Foil Virgin. And I think the Foil Virgin and this are the two exceptions where the runtime is perfectly fine for the story.
Yeah.
Foil Virgin goes off a little bit too much sometimes. Like in the middle, it's a bit bloated there. And then Funny People is like 2.5 hours long.
But this film is, you know, I think it's perfectly length.
If it was hour and a half, it'd just be a bit shit, innit? Do you know what I mean? Because you have to chop out so much of the good shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, like now you've seen the kind of like what it is. If they had to chop, what would you chop out of this to try and bring it down to? You'd have to chop out a good 35 to 40 minutes of this film.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there was going to be anything that I would chop out, it would only be some of the scenes with him and the housemates.
But at the same time, you need that to kind of build up his character.
But at the same time, it makes his character so much better that they're in there. And if you would have cut those bits out, then...
Because you've got him and his
less...
roommates, like his kind of family, and you've got her with her sister and their family,
exactly.
and you can see where they both come from, where they live, what their friends are like. She doesn't really have any friends.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't... Like, her friends are the ones that they run into when they're leaving the baby store.
Yeah.
And they don't really seem like they're good friends. It's kind of like that kind of catty Hollywood type of friends. You know, you're like, oh, hey girl, how's it going? You're like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh my God, never do that again.
No, it's like that though. It's like proper catty Hollywood friendships, but they're not really friends.
Another
it's
example.
All gossip, isn't it?
Another example of female characters being written poorly is that.
Yeah.
The female.
Yeah. He makes the friends seem kind of just like, you know.
There's no genuinely nice, like, they don't just go up to him and be like, oh, you know, hey, how you doing?
I think that was his I think he's gotten a bit better. I mean, I find it really funny because he lives with 3 women as well. So he should have a bit more of an inkling of how, you know, women talk and how they live and how much different they aren't really from men, really.
Yeah, it may have just been this film. You never know.
I feel like it's the second film, and I don't know. I understand Katherine Heigl's kind of
I get the point.
Comments on it because it's just kind of like you watch it now and you
you
watch and you're like I just want to get back to the boys, but you don't want to because I really love Leslie Mann and I do love Katherine Heigl as well.
Yeah,
but you always want to go back to like seeing them because they're like fun loving, and these are just talking about the real issues.
Yeah,
but like he's kind of made them to just complain about men. And I feel like I'm not taking that as like a sexist like dig at men because it can't be, but I feel like they have more to offer than just complaining about men.
Yeah.
because this entire film, they all they do is complain.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, well, that's just not what,
And she takes out her anger on
like
Craig Robinson's character, the
Yeah.
doorman, which is like one of the funniest fucking
Oh,
things.
that is
I've
one
ever
of the
seen in my
best
life.
scenes
Like,
ever. Yeah,
I
it's
need more
so
of that. Like,
funny.
I think that's why I love This Is 40 so much. Like, I think I'm glad he did the focus on Pete and Debbie rather than revisiting Ben and Alison, which she wouldn't have done this film anyway. I know Catherine Heigl probably wouldn't have done it. Someone says if Judd Apatow is going to set the gold standard for American screen comedy, it's only natural to start expecting more.
No, I'd say this is more.
I mean, because when you think about it, most of the comedies now, when you think of comedies, like who are the stars you think of, like naturally, you think Seth Rogen. He's like the top of the list.
Yeah, probably.
And obviously Seth Rogen is kind of like he comes from this branch of like Judd Apatow's world.
Yeah.
And he kind of gave him opportunities like Freaks and Geeks, and he put him in 40-Year-Old Virgin. He was like 20. I think he was like 21.
Was he?
He was like 21 when he shot that film, yeah. And he looks older in that than he looks in this.
How old is
Because
Seth Rogen in this film?
25. His character's 23.
Oh yeah, I know his
Yeah.
character's 23, but
He was
like, so
25
he's
when they shot this,
25.
yeah.
Fuck.
All the other guys are about 24, 25. I think Jay Baruchel's like a little bit younger, 23. But that means, surely that means that all his friends are 23 as well. So Jason
Yeah, that's
Segel,
really
Jonah
weird.
Hill, Jay Baruchel, and Martin Starr all would have been 23. Their characters been 20. They all look 30.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
don't
say,
get that at all. I mean, how old is Katherine Heigl's character? How old's Alison? They don't really say, do they?
I reckon she's probably. I think they do actually.
I would say
at
she's
one
about
point.
30.
I'd say she's about 30.
I think there's a 10-year gap, almost a 10-year gap between them two. I think maybe 5-year gap between the sisters. They never really explain it, do they?
No,
No.
I mean she's definitely quite a bit older than he is.
But like what I mean with the standard for American screen comedy, like I don't know what he means by starting expecting more. Like what does that mean? What do you expect more from? Is it
It's a good film.
do they mean as in like this is kind of like the stamp for like American screen comedy? Like is this kind of like
It's not a fucking
is this-
Avengers film.
it's not really the flagship comedy, is it?
It's not an Avengers film.
But when you think
we don't
about
need
it,
some crazy shit. In
He
it.
has a
like,
major. He's kind of like got this major influence on new comedians, just like kind of like Gary Shandling and
Yeah.
Steve Martin, Richard Pryor, all these guys did in the 80s for people like Jerry Seinfeld. They all influenced Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
So maybe he's kind of like he's that kind of stepping stone to kind of like get to.
Mhm.
And it's like if he's kind of the peak American comedy film, like for comedy films, you got to expect more.
Yeah, I get
Because
you.
obviously he's pretty famous at being like, he's produced almost every, comedy you've seen in the last 10 years. Like, you'll see his fucking name on screens. It'll say executive producer Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
And at the end, it'll say like Apatow Productions and stuff. Like, he's
He's the
produced.
guy.
So he worked on Heavyweights, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Fun with Dick and Jane, Knocked Up, Walk Hard. You Don't Mess with the Zohan. Which he only wrote that film. He didn't do anything else on it. Pineapple Express, Funny People, Get Him to the Greek. This is 40, Trainwreck, and then The King of Staten Island. And he produced other things like Anchorman and Anchorman 2 and Pop Star and The Big Sick and Drobit Taylor, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Step Brothers, Bridesmaids.
Jesus Christ.
They're all like kind of like the top comedies,
Yeah.
And he's worked on all of them. So like, I kind of get that if he's gonna have to like kind of set this bar for like future like generations. I guess that's how I see it.
I get that, but I don't see how you can think that this film is that bad, though. You know, what
I don't think
mean?
he's saying it's bad. I think he just says like,
Because I do think this is a very good film.
I mean, that comment was from 2007, and it would have been like days after this came out. I'll do two more. This one is this feels like the world's longest pregnancy or comedy, with a running time of 129 minutes. Knocked Up is like a helium balloon with a slow leak that quits hugging the ceiling and starts sliding down the wall the longer it goes. That's a great metaphor.
That's an amazing image, but I mean,
I don't get it. I think it's like a great pacing.
yeah,
We said that,
Yeah.
129 minutes. It doesn't feel that long. It feels about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say, until you mentioned it earlier, I don't think it ever
slows down for me.
Mm.
I don't think there ever a moment. Do you ever feel a moment in time in this film you just kind of like, okay, let's just get fucking going, like, just fucking get to the end, because you're more, because it's a pregnancy film. You're more kind of just wondering like, oh, how did these two deal with this, rather than like, let's get to the end and I want to find out, what happens at the end. You know what's going to happen at the end. The baby's going to be fucking born, or not. They could have gone with a whole. They could have gone with a whole miscarriage.
That would have been genuinely.
The film would have ended, so that's not an option. So you're kind of.
They would. I don't think they would have gone down that road.
I'm more interested in seeing it because I can see the thing is kind of like these two opposite ends people kind of like learn from each other. So like, he learns to kind of mature and get a real job, and then because the whole baby situation.
Yeah.
But then with Allison having a baby with Seth Rogen's character, she kind of learns that it's a little bit fun to life than just work.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of like complement each other really well. So it doesn't really feel like it's a fucking like.
I think a miscarriage at the end would have been a miscarriage of justice.
Oh, shut up!
Fuck. Quoting tag.
Quoting tag in another. I'm gonna start doing that all the time now. Just quoting tag. No, I think if there would have been a miscarriage, it would have. It's a rom-com. It's not meant to like.
Yeah, I think it's you're not with Avengers Endgame. You're just kind of like waiting. Oh, how are they going to finish this? How are they going to do the final?
Yeah,
there's going to be a final battle, obviously. But
it's
how
not.
is it going to get to it? What's going to be the outcome?
That's not the right way to end a rom-com. Like that's. I
think it's because like
that's really.
I mean,
sad.
this is coming from like after we've had like sequels and reboots and remakes of the last like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
It's been 13 years since this film. And when this came out, we weren't really getting that. We were getting some remakes, but they weren't really, it wasn't like, just hitting you in the face with remakes and sequels.
Yeah.
I think Marvel kind of brought the whole sequel thing into the mainstream, because I think most sequels were fucking terrible. Apart from The Godfather 2, which is the only film series where I think the sequel is better than the original.
We didn't watch it, did we?
You've seen Godfather 2 though, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, I was gonna say, are we including things that are in like trilogies?
Yeah, anything that's got a sequel.
Because I would argue that the
but it has to be
Lord of the Rings 2 Towers is better than
the Fellowship. I think that's different though, because that was. That's kind of coming. There's going to be a second film, and the story. There's a story. Yeah. I mean, like, where like it's an original idea and just kind of.
Yeah.
It's really rare for a sequel to be better than the original because, I mean, usually you set all the characters up at this point, but is there really any story left? If we've done right in the first
Harold
film,
and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay is better than
White Castle.
The first one. Yeah, that's the only one I can think of, and it's really poor. Actually, no.
American Pie 2.
American Pie 2.
Oh, okay, we just kind of we've shit on our own kind of chips here, haven't we?
American Pie 2.
I don't know. I
the best soundtrack.
Going back to like the whole helium balloon thing, though. I mean, it's clear there's not.
It's just your opinion.
It's just your opinion, man. We'll do one more. This film is every man's wet dream. What woman wouldn't want to have a one-night stand with a drunken, fat, vulgar, irresponsible, dirty-looking slob?
Damn. That sounds like who would ever want to have sex with Josh? That's what it sounds like. I'm taking that personally.
Taking that personally?
Yeah.
Do you think that you think you're a drunken, fat, vulgar, irresponsible, dirty-looking slob?
Well, I'm definitely not drunk, but yes to all the other things.
I mean, she's right, but Seth Rogen's
Damn.
like, he's not drunken, is he? He doesn't really drink in this film, apart from like 1 or 2 scenes. He's usually just stoned, which doesn't make it better.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't make it better at all.
Doesn't make it better.
Doesn't make him more responsible.
He's drunk for the important part of the film. As in, like,
if he wasn't drunk in that bit, the film wouldn't even.
It wouldn't have
continue.
Happened,
If he was stoned and had sex with her, I don't think he would have even gotten to the fucking nightclub.
Oh yeah.
So like, do you know what tonight, guys? Nah.
He wouldn't have even been out.
Credits directed by Judd Apatow. That would have been the film. It'd been like the first 7 minutes.
Do you guys want to go out tonight?
Yeah. Just stay in. Yeah, cool. I like that one. That was one of the best ones I've ever read.
Locked Up.
That's very specifically aimed at Seth Rogen. Like, this person really did not like Seth Rogen at the time. Just thought he was just gross.
He's ugly, so he can't be in films.
He's not ugly.
I would fuck Seth Rogen.
I'm keeping that in.
Oh yeah, keep it in. That's fine. I'd fuck Seth Rogen.
I think that was a good ending to that segment. And I think this is a good ending for the entire episode.
Yeah, boy.
So we're going to end on the amazingness of that awful Seth Rogen kind of...
So we're going to end on a hi.
Yeah, so thanks for doing this again, guys, for a third time in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still going strong in quarantine.
Yeah. So everyone stay safe. Wash your
Stay safe,
hands.
peeps.
Don't go out unless you need to. Stay in, listen to this podcast, and thanks for listening.